certainly must concern you as a party, isn't it?
Alfred, thank you, and a very warm good morning to my seniors here, especially one of the biggest beneficiary of MPP's infrastructure in Ghana, Honorable Aboagye. You know, it's one of the places I love to be, and I think he's also doing quite well in the area, and he's complementing. Yes, all the time. But Alfred, I think the only difference between what's happened in the MPP now with Honorable Aboagye and what happens in every other political party, the difference is simply because we have an individual who believes that he definitely needs to be on a ballot paper. And so if the party that he belongs to and the people who take the decision have decided not to allow him to be on the ballot paper, then he has no choice but to find another route to still be on the ballot paper. That is the only reason. Because really, if you listen to Honorable Aboagye and all the issues he raises, these are not issues that cause breakaway from a political party.
They are not issues that cause breakaway?
No. And I tell you
that the party has been hijacked by...
Honorable Aboagye, I'll tell you. You see,
party folks,
I'll later come on to the architecture of political parties and the structure. And I always say that most of our professors, and I'm using the word most of our professors, not all of them, are still living in the theories and are not really in tune with the realities of the politics of the day in this country. And I think that it's time they begin to marry the theories in the books with what actually transpires in the 275 constituencies and over 38,000 police stations. And sometimes you may think that the MPP and NDC at some point we agree on certain issues, but that's the reality. Honorable Kwabena Dufo, if you read the message he put out a few hours before he withdrew from the NDC, the issues are not different from the issues Alan raised. And I have some paragraphs. He said, as at this time, the party has begun distributing the ballot papers to the various regions and constituencies with our involvement. He said that I wish to reiterate my commitment to the party and its grassroots. However, my concerns that the party is not ready to conduct free and fair elections is evident for all to see. Taking part in such would be akin to knowingly drinking from a poisoned calabash. After consulting with my support base nationwide, I've been left with no choice but to withdraw from the presidential election, as I cannot contest in an election which is blatantly fraught with irregularities, regardless of efforts to draw their attention. Honorable Kwabena Dufo did not leave the NDC. He did not part ways with the NDC. In fact, he came back 2 days or so, I think a few hours later, to release another long statement to explain that in spite of his concerns, genuine concerns that he has raised, he's still part of the NDC. And let me tell you what, Alfred. Go and read Honorable Aboagye's statement. These are the same issues. In fact, a lot of the issues he raises for his departure are issues after he has withdrawn from the contest. That's a fact. And sometimes I ask people that, okay, with all these interviews he's granted and all the issues of, I said this, I wanted to do this, they didn't allow me to do it. Of course, you're not the president. You belong to a group, you belong to a cabinet. Even our professors and our associations and our church programs, when we go, we don't take decisions based on individual views. We aggregate the views. And then the majority would, the majority view will go. You think that all of us seated here, even in our various groups, even Mr. Martin Pebu, and the Kwame Preko Part 2, the one that failed. The management team of that group who organized it, I'm sure when they met, they disagreed on, let's take this route, take this route. And at some point, after it failed, some of them probably said, I told you, we should have done this. It's normal. But we should not distract the issues with the fact that he said there are issues. Which political party doesn't have issues? Which
Did you make any attempts to address the issues that he raised?
It has happened before. This same person did the same thing in 2007, and the issues were addressed, for which reason he continued to stay and contested in subsequent elections. Now the question is, if he had won August 26th, or even if he had placed second, a decent second in August 26th, I'm making this argument dispassionately, and we must do this logical analysis that if the man had won August 26th, or he had even placed a decent second, do you think he would have been here? Yes. Or even if he had placed...
you were looking for
exactly. Or even if he had placed a decent second, do you really sincerely think we'll be having this conversation? No.
But
So
there are fundamental issues he raises. His Northeast candidate was beaten. We saw the videos.
Raise
of his
them.
eye.
No problem. Raise them.
There's a problem
It
there.
is part of every electoral process, even our national elections.
The violence?
America, the mother of democracy, they are in court. FBI.
But there is no justification for the violence.
I am not saying, let me make the point and contextualize the issues. I don't want distractions. I am telling you
There are
that
questions, not
in
distractions.
every democracy, so long as human beings are going to skew and take decisions, expect some of these issues to happen, in as much as you wouldn't wish for it. And so let's even ignore MPP, ignore NDC in Ghana. The most advanced democracy show us one, that they go into the elections without anybody coming out to complain. Even America, the mother of democracies. So we should question the character of the individual. The MPP cannot say that the next elections will not have issues. The CPP cannot say that they will not have issues in the next elections. Even Ghana, in our own election that is coming up, we will have issues. Is John Mahama, who is likely to lose, going to denounce his citizenship because he didn't win the elections?
What did you say?
I'm giving an analogy, a very possible analogy. Is he going to denounce his Mahama has raised issues.
Yes.
Mahama has raised issues with Techiman, Techiman South,
Yes.
okay? And I think he's in court, a lot of issues. We won. Again, Honorable Martin, I think that sometimes...
just Martin is sufficient.
Mr. Martin.
Oh, no, Mr.
The way
it's okay.
and manner on Saturdays, you make, and I'm using your words without any like illogical comments about the president. I think it's because you said that if you cannot prove, then it's illogical. You know, every day Akufo-Addo is eating the choices of food. You are not there, you cannot prove. I think you need to stop. Make your case, make your points. People are listening. People are listening. People are listening. Don't eat into my time. Don't eat into my time.
Yes, if you
people are listening and all of that. You make your case. Let them take their decision. But this trying to throw out this conjectured propaganda, trying to stir up sentiment about the press is unfair.
Well,
it's unfair, and I think I should let you know.
It's not the choices of
Alfred, why?
So
let me finish. You let me finish.
I gave you some.
And then on the Yaw Sarpong case, listen, the issue that Alan raised were sent to the National Council, Alfred, and for the purpose of your viewers and for education, it's not as if these issues were thrown out. They were submitted through a petition to the National Council, which are then these 9 candidates. But you see, the players don't make the rules. It is the National Council that makes the rules. When the National Council sat in the meeting, they didn't just throw Alan's issues out. They actually voted on the matter. They voted. The 82 people who sat, and if you know the composition of the National Council, it includes even former party executives, Nano Hinington, and people who follow Alan were part of the meeting. Out of the 82 people who voted on 2 issues, and there were 2 issues. When you asked him for the issues, he couldn't mention them. But these are the 2 issues. And for the purpose of education,
those have been dealt with.
And
just
the first one was the venue of the elections. The second one was the multiple voting by the delegates. On each of them,
I just want to make a point.
On each of them,
they were
the National Council voted. They didn't just take a decision. No, they voted.
Okay.
When they voted, out of the 82 National Council members who voted, 79 voted against the petition of the candidate.
Okay, so the point is well made. Thank you. I think that the point, you have made the point.
If you say on TV that your issues were raised and that these concerns were not addressed, it is completely false. It is not true, and it doesn't really represent the facts on the ground.